On this episode of I Grew It, I Chew It, I take on a pepper known as the Banestrain peach. Alright, so here is the first ripe one that I was able to get off the plant. Super cool looking, rough texture on the skin, but it's also very shiny. So this is the Banestrain peach. I grew 2 of these plants, and I grew them kind of as an experiment. I started them in January, the beginning of January. And the experiment was based off an article I read online about how super hots peppers usually take longer to germinate. And the reason why is because of the capsaicin, that is the oil that's on the seed, usually inhibits growth to some extent. So those of us that grow hot peppers know that it seems like the hotter the pepper, the longer it takes for them to sprout. So there was a scientific paper done, and they said that it's probably or maybe based on the capsaicin. So the experiment that I did was knowing that capsaicin is broken down by different things. It says it's an oil, and mainly like the fat protein in milk breaks down the acid. Also the fat in olive oil can break down some capsaicins. So I tried letting it sit in some olive oil. Just dabbed it a little bit with a Q-tip and let it sit. And then I planted 1 seed without doing that and 1 seed with doing that. And I believe they both germinated at the same time, so there really wasn't much of a delay. I don't really know when they germinated, because while these were planted, my wife went into labor and we had our daughter was born. So I was in the hospital for 3 days with my wife and newborn daughter, and that's when these sprouted. So when we came home, I went to look and they were both there. So I don't really know when they sprouted, but they both looked about the same. So that was the experiment I did. It didn't really prove anything because, like I said, I wasn't here to see which one sprouted first. But they both sprouted, so that was a good thing. So I have 2 plants of these. Not very many pods, because I'm actually kind of embarrassed about the plants. They're probably the worst looking plants that I have. I think I either shock them with too much light, too fast, too intense. The roots look healthy, but I think I might have burnt the tops of the plants with the light intensity. So they're not the greatest looking right now, but they're still producing pods. I probably have maybe a dozen or so. So I'll probably be making a sauce with these, so stay tuned for that. The Banestrain peach, we'll get into a little bit of the backstory. So got these seeds from jppepperseeds.com, Jimmy Pickles. This was a 2019 exclusive that he released. Got some seeds from him, planted them. Like I said, they sprouted. I've had really good luck with all of Jimmy Pickles seeds that I've gotten. They've all sprouted. I think I'm at like a 98% germination rate with any of the seeds that I've planted for him. So that's a big plus. So the Banestrain peach is kind of a word play. There's a pepper called the Banestrain. This is the Banestrain, named after the creator of this cross, Kevin Bane. He has multiple peppers that he's crossed in the pepper community. He grows really good looking pods, and Jimmy Pickles was lucky enough to have a few of his strains that he's created. Now this pepper pod, it's pod, but this pepper was created by using a peach ghost crossed with a white ghost, then crossed with a butch tea scorpion, and they're in the F4 generation, which is the 4th generation after cross-pollinating. So again, these may not be as stable as they can be. This may not be its final form. It can take up to about 8 or 9 generations of replanting the seeds in here to stabilize what the pepper will finally calm down its genetics and look like. So F4, it's about halfway there, but these are some pretty cool looking pods. I'll show it to you again. Show it to you again. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut her open and see what it looks like on the inside. Alright, let's cut this open. Pop the stem off. And cut it right down the middle. I can smell the chinense on this already. This is definitely a chinense pepper. You see that oil in there. Pretty thick walled. Not very many seeds. Maybe about 4 or 5. Very fruity smelling, but definitely that chinense, it's going to be hot smell. So I'm going to do the whole pod because I haven't done one in a while, and I feel bad that I've been slacking in producing some quality videos for you guys. So I'm going to do the whole pod, and then hopefully be able to talk to you and give you a rundown on how it tastes. Very fruity. Ugh. They always get me right in the back of the throat. Very fruity. Heat's building fairly quickly. I'm at about a 6, maybe a 7. Great tasting pod. I'm at about an 8. Oh. Heat is all over my mouth. Little beer burp. No Billy. It's not happening. It's really hot though. Here comes the hiccups. Oh, that's a hot one. Back of the throat. All around the mouth. Had a drool coming. think I'm gonna cry in a minute. A lot of sweat. Yeah. Wow. Nose is running. Maybe back down to a 6. Ooh. Calm down a little bit. About a 5, strong 5. Yeah. Definitely a hot one. Whew. I'm a little out of practice with fresh pods. It's been a little bit, like I said, since I produced a video. Definitely out of practice. Nevertheless, that was a good pepper. Great citrus flavor, sweet, right up front. Then the heat kicks in full force. Yeah, topped out at probably about an 8. Full mouth burn. My mouth is still burning, but it's manageable. Back of the throat a little bit, but I'm not sure if that's just from coughing. Sweating up a storm. Nose is running. Eyes are watering. Yeah. Great pepper. It's gonna make a good sauce. So, well, that brings us to the conclusion of this episode of I Grew It, I Chew It. Thank you for tuning in. More to come. Stay tuned.